It was Texas, it was
That's my
Tennessee.
intro.
Nice.
It was what I
I'm
had
here
to
at the Hernando's Hideaway with legendary.
Yes, absolutely.
It's underappreciated, underrated.
Yep.
It's hard to when someone asks me what it's like. It's hard to kind of. It's like a time capsule.
Yeah.
That's the
It
best way
is.
I can
Yes.
describe that.
Yeah,
But
that's a great description.
but I'm here with the Waymores, man. Appreciate y'all taking the time. I told
Thank
you
already.
for having us.
I do.
Thanks for having us.
I mean it. So for anybody that's not familiar with you guys, who the hell are the Waymores?
I'm Kira and Annalise.
I'm Willie, Heath, Neal. We're a husband and wife honky-tonk duo out of Atlanta, Georgia.
We're not a duo anymore.
Yeah, now we did it for years. You know, when we started doing it, we toured for years and years as just a duo, going out to build a fan base because we couldn't afford to drag a band around. You know, and
We still can't.
still can't, but we do.
But we're doing it.
But it got to a level, you know, where we had to have a band behind us. You know, lots of venues and stuff that we were working with wanted us, you know, wouldn't book us without a full band, and so it's grown.
Yeah, you just got through with sound check.
Yeah.
It's a really cool sound.
Yeah,
Good,
well,
thank
thanks.
you. Thank you.
It's a really good lineup. It's a really
Yeah.
good lineup.
Got some great guys.
Just what you're saying, you can tell you're proud of what you got going on. Just,
Very much.
Just from the look on your
Yeah.
face.
Yeah.
These guys are a great bunch of guys, and we
Mostly.
we toured. There's one or two of
Except
them.
for that one.
Yeah. We toured with
Not
a few.
the bass player.
We toured with a few other bands behind us for a while, lineups and stuff, and just never. That's my watch.
That's
Forgive me.
okay.
Amateur.
It couldn't amateur.
I just
we
remembered that I didn't turn my ringer on, so hopefully it's okay.
Well, we used a few different people and lineups to tour with the full band last year. We did some, and it we got through the shows, but it never felt right until we managed to get these guys together, and then we knew that this was the lineup that we wanted.
Yeah, it clicked right away with these guys.
And the drummer and the bass player live in Detroit. The fiddle player lives in Mobile, Alabama, and the guitar player lives in St. Louis, and we live in Atlanta. So we all just meet in Nashville, get in the van, and tour. Then go back to Nashville, and everybody goes home for a couple of weeks. Then we meet up and do it again.
Yeah.
This is not on my list here,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
how did that work as far as?
We met them just through like the Americana.
Yeah.
They played for other peers in the industry as well,
Gotcha.
and they were looking for work, and we had it, and we needed them, and luckily it all just kind of timed out. Our fiddle player came from one of the other bands
And
that we
that
had
toured
taken
with us.
out, and when we realized that the traveling with that band all the time wasn't going to work, we poached him and just said,
had
yeah,
the
we
fiddle
want
player
you
if he
though.
wanted to come. And the bass player Jason Oberleisen and the drummer Brian Farabee and the guitar player Ricky
Wagner?
Wagner. I almost called him Watson. I know it
Wow.
was Ricky Wagner.
I'm terrible.
He's
with
Rick
that.
Watson now.
They were already a unit. They had already played together a bunch of times. So it was like when we got one, we got them all.
Yeah.
So we just
Which
added a
is-
fiddle player to them.
Especially if they're already if they're
They're
buddies.
tight-knit,
If they're
yeah.
buddies,
Yeah.
that's more than a hired gun.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
more. And so every now and again we have to use a pickup band if we go somewhere. But this is our band. This is our guys.
Yeah.
You know.
They're all Waymores now.
And I'm sorry, Ricky, that your last name.
I'm
I
not
wanted to
sorry,
call you Ricky
Ricky.
Watson.
I'm not sorry at all.
To be fair, he might not remember half the time either. You know, when you get sprung on you, sometimes
Yeah.
we all kind of buffer for a minute, right?
Yeah.
So you've played here before.
Several times.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've played.
But only as the duo. This is our first time playing as full band.
Very cool. Like we were talking about it before, this is kind of a time capsule.
Yeah, it
This
is.
is the way it's honky-tonk. But
Yeah.
it's a I'm like, well, what's it like? Well, it's got
It's a
It's got-
museum
it-
slash honky tonk.
It's
Yeah.
got zebra skin on the ceiling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's to start with, and then there's
It's really easy to get to forget that you're not like somewhere else. I get lost in here, not like physically lost, but I forget that time is still passing. and I just continued to drink.
Well, well, when you think about all the legends that hung out here, I mean, Elvis was there, Jerry Lee hung out here.
Yeah.
Didn't they call this his office?
This
At one
yeah.
point, they had his couch in the green room.
Yeah, in the green room, they had his couch.
We sat on that multiple times.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great place.
It does have a, just kind of a certain vibe to it, no matter who you're seeing.
Yeah.
Like we've seen Lucero
Yeah.
here,
Yeah.
but then I've seen Jason Eady here.
Yeah.
Which is,
Yeah.
which is different,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
still fit for
Yeah.
whatever reason.
Yeah,
I don't know why, but
It's,
Yeah,
it's
it's
a
great
very
room.
magical place. We always
And
love
the
it.
sound
man.
is always
The
like
sound is always
spectacular
top-notch,
here,
too.
so
that's
helps.
cool. Like I said, this place, even in the area, is underappreciated. A lot of folks don't know about it,
Yeah.
or don't that never been in.
Yeah.
I don't think you really get it until you walk in.
Yeah.
It's hard
Yeah,
to it's hard to
That's
say.
a- yeah.
building from the road, but it is a hideaway. That's why a lot of people
Yeah.
don't really know it.
Well, but there's a reason why the honky-tonks used to be hideaways.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
weren't in strip centers
Yeah,
back
that's
in
right,
the day.
yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna try my best to ask the pie question because the co-host usually does this.
Okay.
My co-host he's in the DFW area,
Okay.
and he's a little more professional than I am. So the pie question: if I give you a pie and cut it up into 4 sections, we're gonna do performance, writing, the business, and studio.
Okay.
Which one do you naturally kind of gravitate towards?
Oh, what were the pieces of the pie again?
It would be performance, writing, studio,
Oh,
and
performance.
business.
Performance, 100%. That like you gravitate toward. We're forced to do the business part of it. The writing also comes really naturally, and I think we don't get enough time because we tour so much. We don't get a lot of time to write and to be artists because we do it like we've got a manager now who's great, but we still do all our own booking and the majority of the business end. So we don't get a lot of time to write, but we
And just 150 shows,
Yeah.
a year. I do all the driving
We just
know,
took 5 months off though, so we wrote an album
during that 5 months.
during that 5 months, and that'll be out later this year.
Yeah, you heard 2 of the songs at soundcheck. Those are
Yeah.
2 brand new.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Brand new tunes.
We're still working them up during sound checks.
Yeah, because we're going to the studio at the end of
May.
to record a new album, which won't be out till October, but we're going to do the studio.
So those were
yeah.
originals.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I got a snippet of one of them.
Yeah.
May add 30 seconds onto the end of this thing, so
Yeah.
y'all gotta watch.
So we gravitate. Performance is what all the other work is for.
Yeah.
Because
That's
you've
the
got,
fun part too.
and it's what makes it all worth it. And if you have a good man, no matter how tired or worn out you are, if you have a good show, it makes up for it.
Yeah.
Put some fuel in the tank.
Put
Yes.
fuel in the tank. It's what you live for is
Yeah.
performing, and it just takes all of those elements just to be able to perform. If not, if you don't do all the other pieces of the pie, then you're just performing in your living room.
There was a 4th piece. We missed a piece of.
Yeah, there's the performance, writing, business, and studio.
Studio.
But that's
I
I hate
hate being in the
studio.
studio.
I
hate it.
just
But it's a necessary
It's a necessary thing.
Yeah.
I love it when the product is finished and you sit back and listen to it and you're very proud of it. But being in the studio, I hate
It is.
what's the
It's.
part
I'm
that
very
you-
Just the
abusive
mon-
to myself in the studio, and you want things to be perfect, so you're bound to mess up, and it's mess up after mess up after mess up because you're human, and all of that is like in your face, like you're listening back to raw vocals or raw. It's really
It's
hard.
very
to do.
humbling in there. There's not, but to me, it's the repetitiveness of it, and just it's like you're in a vacuum. There's
no
usually no
crowd.
windows. It's usually just it's no sunlight coming in. It's like a vacuum of sound. The sound is dead. It's just very very draining to me
Yeah.
being in the
no
studio.
no crowd, nothing.
Yeah,
to
no
feed
crowd.
off of.
Yeah.
But once you start getting through it and listening back to tracks, it turns you around. But it's like pulling teeth to get me in there.
Yeah, it's rough.
But it's a necessary. You can't do the rest of this without having an album.
Right.
So, once I get going in there, I'm okay. But it's like pulling teeth getting me in there.
But you, from what I remember, you started touring the duo thing with very little material, right?
No
Was that-
material.
that-
Yeah,
no
no,
material?
yeah,
Zero
we were
material.
touring before
Yeah.
we even made our first album, and we came off the road made a little EP, a little 5-song EP, and released it. But yeah, we started touring right away without.
So you were making material just to have
Yeah.
a reason
Yeah.
to
I
keep
think,
touring for
I
the
think
or keep playing?
a big part of what Willie and I want out of this and out of life, like we want to travel and see the world, and for both of us, music is a means to be able to do that. So we wanted to get out there and be on the road, and we didn't have material, so we just went and did it. And then a lot of people were requesting, like, "Oh, we need an album. We want,
What happened? We did this little video. We covered John Prine and Iris DeMents in spite of ourselves, and we made a little video of it. And it got some attention, and we were getting requests for shows off of that video as far away as Arizona, so we booked a tour all the way out there just off of that little song going a little bit viral.
Right.
And then it was like,
By viral, it was like 5,000 views.
well, it got attention.
Whatever,
People were calling and asking us to play,
Yeah.
all in other states just off of that. So it kind of got the ball rolling for us, and then we realized,
I forgot all about that.
yeah. It's like that's we got a request to come do a private event all the way out in Arizona, just off of that.
So we just booked shows
So we just
all the
booked
way there.
shows all the way out there, and a lot of them weren't like venues. A lot of them were just bar gigs and stuff. To
Whatever
get,
to get-
whatever to get us out there to make gas
get-
money. Oh, sorry. But then it grew. Then we knew it's like we have to have original material. So we started writing and recorded a 5-song EP in like 5 days. I mean,
Yep.
like no time flat. And all the albums that we made were with a full band because we knew someday we would be out with a band, but we just couldn't afford it. We had to go out and do all the grunt work with just us, because it was cheaper.
Yeah.
We could make a living doing it with just her and I,
Right, I
because there was no
understand.
overhead.
Yeah, it is. Talking to these. I guess the point of that question is you talk to these different people, and I mean, which hardly nobody says the business side of it. I mean, there's a few that understand it more than others because they were already in that.
Yeah.
Like owned the business or
Yeah.
something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But there's some that performance is nerve wracking for them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
writing is their home.
Yeah,
And,
yeah,
I mean,
I
there's
get it.
there's different.
It
That makes
is.
sense.
You know
I
what I
know
mean?
guys that are comfortable just playing in the studio who
It's-
don't
yeah.
want to play live.
It
They
is.
just wanna be
It is
studio
weird.
guys.
And what
it's
makes
weird.
different people.
Performance is
what's
really
different.
nerve wracking, but what we get out of it makes it worth it. Like I still have horrible stage fright, but then once the show gets going and it's going well, it makes it worth it.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. Just as much as a great show, an attentive show, and I mean, it doesn't have to be a super crowded show. It just has to be people loving and people there for you. It's great, but there are also a lot of soul crushing nights out there. And you got to fight through those.
Yeah.
You have to
Part
keep
of it.
working.
I understand. I mean, I just do the corner bar
Yeah.
gigs, but there are nights that where you're like, man, I earned my $200.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're like, that was fun. Oh, and I made money. And then
Yeah.
sometimes you're like, give me my money because I
Yeah.
earned that shit tonight.
You
Yeah,
guys are
yeah.
making money?
Yeah.
Well, that's I leave with money. That doesn't mean that I really
Yeah.
made any
Yeah.
money by the time you eat and drive and whatever else.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, one of the things I want to make sure we talk about. You guys are going to you're on the way to Texas, I believe, right?
Yep.
I saw something actually today. I was taking a break at work. I was working at work today,
Yeah,
but I was
of
on a
course.
break. And I saw you were at March 17th. You're going to be at Standard Hat Works.
Yes,
Yeah.
very excited
Cameron,
about that.
I met him at Jason Eady's thing in
Yeah.
Clarksdale. It comes up quite a bit on the pod. But Cameron, we kind of hit it off which he's easy to hit it off with.
Yeah.
He's a really cool guy. And have you ever?
We haven't met him.
haven't
That was
met him yet.
it's a bunch of people on our same management team, Keystone Artists Connect, are on that show. Like all of they're doing a big Keystone event at South by Southwest,
Okay.
and unfortunately we're going to be in Arkansas the day that they're having that. Super excited to be in Arkansas. And then we do a brunch show with them, and then the Standard Hat Works show with them as well.
That's cool. Yeah, Cameron's a top-notch guy, by the way.
You can't wait to meet. Yeah.
He's what stood out to me when he had a little booth set up at Edie's Festival in Clarksdale, and all the artists would walk in and be like, "What's up, Cameron?" You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Just like he was one of the artists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, that doesn't happen.
Yeah,
that
that's-
doesn't happen all the time. You know, when
Yeah.
they're Adam Hood's shaking his hand and Taylor
Yeah.
Honeycutt and all these
Yeah.
different people. older, younger, whatever.
Yeah.
Not that I'm saying Adam is old or anything, but you know, it just stood out.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's
Yeah,
cool.
well, we're anxious to meet him. I mean, it's
Yeah,
gonna
it'll be a really
exciting.
fun show. I think we're the only full band on that bill. Everybody else is acoustic, but we're very excited.
And that's going to be down there in Waco, right?
Yep.
Yep. That's cool. I'm headed down there for one of the ragweed thing. They're playing with Turnpike at the Waco
Oh, wow.
at
Nice.
Baylor. So
Nice.
my
Insane.
first time headed down there for anything like that. So looking forward to that. But you have, I mean, you've been doing this the road dog thing for a while. I mean,
2018.
and
Together, that's just
about
together.
how many gigs a year roughly?
150 to 200 gigs a year, minus,
The COVID
you know,
lockdown.
the COVID lockdown.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we did our first tour 2018.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we've not stopped moving since, so for the lockdown. And she had to have surgery.
Yeah.
So we came off the road.
We'd come out
five-
for a month or a month or two here, a month or two there, and then a big chunk of time most recently, and then now we're back. Hopefully, never coming off the road again.
Well, at this level, you know, it's like you have to. I mean, we pray for the day that you know we can play more select shows, but at this level, you have to just be
Pound
in
the
their
pavement.
faces all the time. You have to be everywhere all the time, and it gets exhausting. But that's what we live to do: travel. Music is just a means to travel. You know,
That's-
see the world.
Yeah, that's you know, that's not what you hear from everyone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everybody has different routes that they're taking necessarily, but I mean, it completely makes sense.
Yeah.
It's you know, to be a hand in hand to be able to
Yeah.
to do your art and
Yeah.
Yep.
Travel. It's you know, so even if there's a bad show, you know, we still think, hey, well, at least we're getting to travel.
well, we've talked. You mentioned the bad shows. You know, we've talked about that a couple times. So one of the questions I like to ask is when if you're in an opening spot, if it's not your crowd, right, for whatever reason,
Yeah.
but you see people starting to nod their head, they're starting to dig what you do.
Yeah.
How is that? What's that feeling like from your point of view?
Well, what that is like is when it's not, you've got to go out and give it. You've got to make them forget that they're there to see the headliner. You've got to go out and give it. It's I always use the Blazing Saddles line when Slim Pickens has said we got to whoop up a number 6 on them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like you've got to go out. You can't suck. You've got to go out and give it everything. I've seen open bands get booed, you know, off a stage. You know, and it's
Right.
like you don't want to go out there and you do got to try to go out and upstage your.
It's a great feeling
It's a great-
when you see that they are
And you're
digging
winning
it,
them over.
and then you have to follow that up with going out and shaking hands,
Yeah.
introducing yourself to the same people that you saw bobbing their heads.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have to make that connection while you have them there, or else they're probably gonna
Yeah,
forget who
well, you
you
got
are.
to, so that's what you have to remember is that you've got to make a good enough impression because the moment you're done and that headliner hits, you're out of their memory.
Yep.
Most of the time. So it's like you've got to play like you've never played and then come down, hit that merch table, shake hands, and talk, you know, don't be a rock star.
What do you think? How is that natural for y'all? For people to come up to the merch table and shake your hand and talk to you like that? Is that
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
you get?
Yeah, we do. We love talking to people. And, you know, sometimes, man, we, spend a couple of hours at the merch table just talking with people, but they,
I've gotten in trouble talking too much at the merch table before.
Yeah, but, you have to. That's part of the thing. We always tell bands to not. It's like if you're in that situation where it's like, don't go backstage and be a rock star. It's like you've got to come off that stage and go down and talk to people.
Yeah.
You've got to come straight down and go to that merch table and start selling. You know.
One, fuel in the tank, both directions. One, you're selling something, but
Yeah.
two, you're making that connection
Yeah.
that,
Right.
that keeps you going.
And
Yeah.
man, sometimes just meeting that one eager fan, that person that loves music, that tells everybody about you is very important. You never know, you never know how that's going to turn out. You know, you've got to talk to everybody.
I'm sure you've seen it.
Oh,
the,
yeah.
the return,
hundreds of
the-
times.
Oh,
yeah.
hundreds of
the
times.
return
Yeah.
customer.
Yeah.
That brings
Oh, yeah.
5 more people
Yeah.
with them.
That's why we always have to rotate out your merch. Like when you're touring through the city, we try to not have the same merch when we go through cities again because we've learned that the people that bought that one shirt are going to buy the next
Yeah,
shirt. if
you're
you've
right.
got
And we
something
call
new.
those people gardeners.
Yeah.
When you meet that one in a town, and then the
They
next
plant
time
that
you come
seed.
through, they plant that seed and they
planted
bring
that
5
seed,
people
they
with
bring
them.
5 people. We call those people gardeners. It's like that
Which is-
person's going to grow your crowd.
you can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can probably tell. Like,
Yeah.
there's a real good chance we're going to see that.
Yeah,
guy,
That
you know?
person
sure.
becomes your street team. You know, when you let that person know
The
you're in
unofficial
town, they're going to
street
let
Yeah,
everybody
unofficial
know,
street team.
You know.
That's I mean, that's cool. And like I said, that's fuel in the tank,
Yeah.
emotionally
sure.
and literally getting down
Yeah.
the road.
Yeah, I
So-
mean, you have to be approachable. At this level, you know, we're not at a level where it's like we can't, you know, people are going to tear you apart trying to talk to you. It's like we're approachable. You have to be until it's just you get to the point where you can't be. But even our peers, man, you see Del Watson play. That guy's down there talking to people.
Yep.
For hours.
Every
when he's
single
done
person,
playing,
yeah.
you
It
know,
never
every
rushes
single,
you. You know,
yeah,
we just
he
want
shakes hands,
yeah.
takes pictures, swaps stories. You know, you have to do that.
And that makes a huge difference. I've seen it. I've talked about it on air before with my kids. Like I'll, take them to a show or whatever. Like my son, he kind of liked. I took him to see Brent Cobb, and he knew a song or two. But
Yeah.
I drug him to the show anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he got to meet Brent, and I was wearing an Adam Hood shirt, so Brent was flipping off my
Yeah.
Adam Hood shirt.
Yeah.
And my son thought that was funny.
Yeah.
And then so when my son got a picture of Brent, he flipped Brent back off.
Yeah.
So he thought,
Nice.
Yeah.
But then when I got home, fast forward a couple days, I hear a lot more Brent
Yeah.
blasting out
Yep.
of his bedroom.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
That's cool, yeah.
And you can tell. You know what I mean?
Meeting him made that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's life changing. Yeah.
And he'll like you said, he'll I'm not sure high school people are listening to a lot of Brent Cobb
Yeah.
necessarily, but
Our kids
Yeah.
do.
but yeah,
They're
I
out
mean,
of high school,
you
but
just
they
never
do.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you never know.
It is crazy how that works. Even the opener. I mean, when he met Zach Russell and he wanted a Zach Russell
Nice.
shirt because Zach
Well,
talked
man,
to him. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
You know, it's
Same thing.
to a younger generation, to see them up on the stage and in the lights and the crowd, when they come down and they're personable. That said, that it really makes an impression on a younger
It does.
person.
Yeah.
Because it's like that person doesn't have to be nice to you. There's a room full of people there to see them. They could walk down and just be an asshole, and they're still going to have a room full of people there to see them. But they're not. It's you want to be humble and nice.
It's that way even for for an adult, to be honest, on my part.
Yeah.
I've seen let's say like Shane Smith and the Saints. I saw them open up for Whiskey Myers, and they weren't in a position where they could do that merch thing.
Yeah.
But then I saw them down the road at a venue here, and they were able to do that. And it, not that one show was any better or than the other,
Yeah.
but they were able to hang out and
that
talk to
part
everybody.
was, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, don't get me wrong. There's
So-
that time where you got to come down to the merch table talk too. But then there's also that time where everybody's trying to get your attention. It
Yeah,
gets a
it's
little
rough.
overwhelming. And then every now and then you get the one drunk person that's just monopolizing your
leave you,
time,
yeah.
not buying
Yeah.
anything. Let me tell you
Yeah.
about my cousin's brother that plays guitar. Man, he's really it's like,
Hey,
man,
man.
I'm not trying to be rude, but I've got all of these other people I need to talk to.
Yeah.
If you need yeah, that's another Adam Hood song there. All right, let's see here. Do you have a crazy road story that you can share that's not
No, it's the
incriminating?
that you can share part.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
Well,
worrisome.
whatever,
Man,
long as it's not incriminating anybody.
man, there's so many of them. I don't even know how to pluck
Yeah.
one out of the air right now.
There's lots of them, but I'm drawing a blank.
Nah.
Right now, just right off the top, I'm drawing a blank. But yeah, crazy shit happens all the time.
I bet
Yes.
it does.
I once
We've
saw a
been-
lady try to buy a hamburger with a hot dog.
We've been shot at coming out of
We
a
have
parking
been
lot.
shot at before.
Wind up in the wrong side of town trying to get a meal after a show. We've been trapped in a gunfight. Oh man, we've seen. I had a guy try to rob us. I had to chase him off. I had a guy try to rob us in Abilene.
Yeah.
I had to chase him off with a pocket knife. He acted like he had a gun, and I had a little pocket knife. And we've had some crazy shit happen.
Yeah.
It's
wild out there.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine.
But the
to
lady
be
buying the
honest.
hamburger with the hot dog topped
Well,
it all,
topped
really.
it all. Yeah, this lady was at a Wendy's. This lady ordered, and they told her what the total was. She pulled a hot dog
Out of her pocket.
out of her pocket.
Like,
in
how
a
long
bun,
was it
wrapped up in
there?
aluminum foil, and tried to barter for the.
How long had that hot dog
Like,
been
lady,
there?
that's not
And
how-
why
It
didn't-
was in foil.
Why didn't you want that?
Yeah,
But
why
honestly,
do you want this hot
what's
dog? I
wrong
never
with
even
it,
thought
and
of
how
that.
long has it been there? I need to know about this hot dog.
We need to get her on the podcast.
Yeah,
see how
do.
this.
I actually got her info.
That's fine. We're Instagram friends. That sounds like the stuff that would actually happen right there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's make sure we talk about the newest music that you have going on. The album's called Greener Pastures.
Yep, Greener Pastures.
Kind of how did that come about? I know that's an interesting story.
It's
kind of a wild tale. Our album Stone Sessions, the day that it came out, a buddy in LA was listening to it in the car with his best friend Shel Talmy.
Legendary producer Shel Talmy.
He produced the Kinks and the Who and David Bowie, and Harry was listening to it with Shel in the car. Shel is blind. He has been for the majority of his life, and Shel said, "Who is this?" And just inquired. He said he'd always wanted to record a country record and never had the opportunity. And I was wondering if Harry thought we would be interested, and we're not idiots, so of course we are. And next thing I knew, like a week later, Shel was calling on the phone, and it came up and said, "Shel Talmy," and I was like, "What?"
Shel Talmy,
Right.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Shel
Shel Talmy, maybe. And and then we
Possible spam.
Yeah, exactly. I'm glad I took the call, but
He had us cut first. He had some old standards. We did a Murray Robbins song. We did a Buck Owens song.
and that was going to be it. Originally, we were going to put out like a novelty 45 thing, and
Of just
two songs.
Some
yeah.
deep
And
cuts.
then we really liked working with him. He liked working with us. It's really hard to pitch like a single, the release of only a single, to radio unless you have like an album coming out after it. So all of those factors kind of tied in, and we ended up going back out to LA, recording 8 more songs
With the all-star lineup.
with an incredible band behind us. It was truly a life-changing experience.
Floyd
as far
Atkins,
as
steel
studio,
player, John
yep.
Prines, piano player, Bonnie Raitt, bass player. I mean, it was
Yeah.
an A-list band. And those guys,
And you already sweat the studio. to
It
start
took a
with.
lot to walk through those doors. We didn't quite know their their resumes before we
Oh.
went in, thank God. And
That-
I was
yeah.
like
I
Googling
would've never gone in a
afterwards.
room.
Yeah.
but Shel wanted us to do it, so he always wanted to make like an old school, like A-Team, Nashville A-Team record. And that's what we did. He arranged, we wrote some songs and did a couple of standards, and he did the arrangements in a very traditional manner. We went in there, we ran through the songs twice, and we rolled tape. And it was,
And
very few overdubs.
recently, on the anniversary of the day we stepped foot in the studio with him, it was a 2-year anniversary, Shel passed.
Yeah, he just recently
And
passed
we
away.
went, it was actually on our little break that we just took, and they invited us to come and play his memorial service. It was held at the Grammy Museum on the Ray Charles Terrace. And so we had said that we weren't going to go back to work that soon after, and we just said we have to do this. It's
We had to do
special
this for our friend.
circumstances.
Yeah.
So we went and played
One song, we played a Kinks song for Shel, because
Yeah.
he produced it, he made the
Yeah.
Kinks famous, So we went and performed a Kinks song for him. and,
Acoustic.
acoustic.
Yeah.
And it was really, it was sad, but we were the last thing that Shel produced. It's crazy to think that this is a guy that talked to David Bowie every week on the phone until
Yeah.
David Bowie passed. It's just crazy, and the stories that he could tell. And he always, wanted to make a country record, never got to. He recorded Jerry Lee Lewis one time, but he still considered that a rock and roll record.
Yeah.
Which was
Yeah.
Yeah.
on the verge of of everything.
Yeah.
That's that just happened by
A farmer.
by happenstance.
A friend of
a
ours
farmer.
happened to be playing.
Okay.
And what's crazy about that is that it was the day that Stone Sessions came out. He heard it. So we're trying to tour for Stone Sessions, just come out, and now we're already
Recording,
2 weeks later
yeah.
writing new songs for another record, and
Yeah.
and going out and make another record.
It was really hectic and really wore us both out.
And I was like, now we're making a record, but it's like, I don't want to make a record for a little, I'm record out,
Yeah. I don't think that we plan on even making this upcoming record, but after our break, we felt like coming back into it with something, was needed. So we wrote for this one during the 5 months, and luckily the songs turned out really good.
And then you have the current band, and I'm sure
Yeah.
I'm sure that makes you want to capture it.
No, it does.
100%.
And we were really pretty adamant about, because all the other records we've done, we used players, that weren't our band. And so we wanted to make a record with our touring band. And so
Yeah.
before we left out on this tour, we met in Nashville. We rehearsed with Mose Wilson, who's producing this new album for us, we went over he showed us the arrangements, how we wanted to play. We rehearsed them that way, wrote a little video just so we could document it, and now we're out on the road playing those songs for 2 months so that we go in the studio, we got them down good and live, But we wanted to make a record with our touring band because we've been making records with studio guys.
I'm sure it's not that there's anything wrong with the studio guys at all, but I'm sure there's a little something extra when it's
just something
especially
that
when it's people
done.
you really your buds.
Yeah. Well, these guys are part of the team now. These guys are hired guns. These guys are our band, and it's like we want them out on the road pushing a record that they played on. It's going to mean more to them.
That's what I was going to say. I imagine that will, especially even after they get it on tape. I'm sure playing those gigs when it's their part. It's they're not playing someone else's stuff. I'm sure that
they're
writing the
for it.
parts and
so I'm sure that's a little bit more of. Behind them to be able to be creative as well.
On the road, it means a lot to do that kind of thing. We're not at a level where these guys are getting paid a ton, so those little things help incentivize. It's like you're out pushing something you helped create and not here, just playing some stuff that somebody else wrote. You had to memorize the part to.
Understand. Well, I'll kind of ask a couple more questions and I'll let y'all get out of here. But if I asked if someone, if they're, if you're doing that opening slot thing and people aren't familiar with you, but if you were to tell people, come out to see us, this is what you can expect when they come to a Waymores show. What would you describe?
Willie
what should
always
they
tells
expect?
people during the show, he says, "You told me another place you can find country and comedy, and we'll all go there."
Whenever people say, "How would you describe your sound?" I just say, "Boom chicka boom."
It's country and western. There's
country. It's not. We said in an interview once, somebody called it alt country. I was like, this is country. There's nothing alt country about what we're doing.
Yeah.
It's country. That crap they play on the radio is alternative country. It's an alternative to country. This is country music.
We have a fiddle, damn it.
Yeah. We have a fiddle.
And he was playing some country licks on that telly too. So
he's great.
Yeah, he's really great.
They both are.
Kevin Newell. We didn't mention Kevin's name earlier when we were naming the other guys. Kevin Newell is our fiddle
Wow, I can't believe you left Kevin out.
No, I didn't. It's just wasn't the opportunity to talk about Squeak.
Sorry, Kevin.
Kevin
Kevin also, I guess, left home alone at Christmas time too. So, poor Kevin's. Well, you were talking about the mindset of between being a headline and a headlining spot and an opening spot. Being totally different. Is there one that you kind of prefer more than the other, or you just like the challenge of both?
Well, the thing I hate about opening slots is that you've got 30, 45 minutes to go out there, and then you got to go, and it's like I'm not even warmed up. I'm just getting the strap. Then you got to walk off stage.
I can imagine that.
We like to play 2 hours. I mean, we do.
I think we're in a great pocket at the 90-minute mark, which is like the headlining slot. I think we all really kill it then because you're not pushing it over that limit where we're all starting to get a little
monotonous,
sleepy.
and then 45-minute open slots, like you're just hitting a stride.
So I appreciate the opening slot more because, well, not more, but I appreciate that slot because it shows new audiences who you are. But I appreciate the headlining slot because we've worked our asses off for it.
Yeah.
And that's your people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can completely understand that. All right, a couple of rapid fire questions. Yeah. All right, Desert Island album. This is tough. I don't even
Stranger.
know.
Redheaded Stranger.
Okay.
Marty Stewart, The Pilgrim. That album's one of my favorite. That's but the Redheaded Stranger.
Well, he's, to me, I mean, I know he's really popular, but I still think he's underrated.
Underrated. And that album, I know we got to wrap this up, but that album's just incredible. I was talking about it today, just what an incredible album it is. It tells a story. And, Johnny Cash and Emmylou Harris and Ralph Stanley play different characters in it. I don't know if you've ever heard it, but it's incredible.
Yeah, I just really, like I said, I don't think a lot of folks appreciate. I mean, he's kind of like this place. He's a time capsule.
Yeah.
In his own right. Plus the band is ridiculous as well. All right, when I say sad song.
Ooh.
What's the one that's the one that pops to mind? Well, that's
why can't I think of any sad songs right now?
Saddest song I ever heard. Even Elvis Presley said it was the saddest song he ever heard.
Yeah,
That
sure.
one.
Yeah.
I mean, it is ridiculous. He's got so many good ones.
Yeah.
All right, when I say this may be besides Elvis, when I say Memphis, what's the first thing that
You
comes
can
to
say
mind?
Elvis?
B.B. King.
I'll say
Okay.
dearly
Okay.
because of here.
I understood.
I'm
All right.
trying to stay out of the sun category and show my diversity.
Your diversity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I could go on, Dr. Charlie Feathers, I
Yeah.
could go on and on, but B.B. King, I'm a bass player too. and
I'm
I
still trying to
learned-
think of a sad song.
I learned a lot of by playing bass, playing along with B.B. King records. So
I'll say Don't Worry About Me. I know they were rapid fire, but my brain got glitched.
No.
she just got a new brain. So you gotta
I
give her-
just got a new brain.
Understood.
It's only halfway working.
Understood.
Yeah, Don't Worry About Me is kind of pretty sad. So. And we covered it, so I'll pitch us and do a sad song.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
All right. Sounds good. Okay, last one. This is the most important question of the podcast. It started out as a joke on episode 1. Now it is a requirement that we ask this. And you're from Georgia, so you're in the South. So what is your favorite Little Debbie snack?
Ooh.
I know
Star
that's
Crunch.
hard hitting. What was it?
Star Crunch.
Star Crunch. Okay.
I'm going to go with his, but make it a little bit different and say a refrigerated Star Crunch.
Okay.
Because that makes it like so much better.
There are people that really like. I'd never thought about that.
It's
as
gonna-
far as actually like
it's-
freezing certain
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah, it's
There's
going to be
people that
really
have their-
controversial, but I'm going to say refrigerate them.
Yeah, refrigerate them.
Sorry, don't come at me.
All Little Debbie's are good when you refrigerate them.
Yeah. I prefer Big Deborah.
Yeah, Big Deborah.
actually.
I'm with you. That's what. That's yep. That's same here. A big Deborah fudge round, and
Yeah.
I buy my own.
Yeah.
I make sure I put that in there for
Yeah.
Oliver Anthony that I buy my
I
own.
buy my own
Yeah.
Big
But-
Deborahs.
And also, Little Debbie is in Chattanooga. We didn't know this, so we're pining for a sponsorship.
Oh, yeah,
there,
you got
Little
it. There
Debbie.
you go.
Come
All right.
on.
All right, guys.
appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate
Thank you
the
so
time.
much for having us.
If y'all don't follow the Waymores on all their socials, make sure you do. Wherever you stream your music, make sure you hit that follow.
that
It's
too.
really important to everyone. And
Yes.
when they release new music, you'll be notified.
Yeah, that's
If
right.
they ask you, pre-save these things.
Do it.
Yeah,
Do it.
it doesn't cost anything. It just helps get the ball
Yes.
rolling before the ball is ever dropped.
Yeah,
So,
that's right.
all right.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Thank you.